In a world filled with noise, expectations, and distractions, the greatest power you can have is peace. Not the kind of peace that depends on perfect circumstances, but the kind that remains unshaken no matter what. Peace is not something that magically appears when life is perfect. It is not a prize at the end of the road, nor is it something that can be given by others. Peace is an internal decision, a conscious effort to cultivate a state of mind that remains undisturbed regardless of external circumstances. Many people spend their lives searching for peace, believing that it comes from wealth, relationships, or success. But the truth is, peace is not found in external achievements. It is built from within. The reason so many people struggle with finding peace is that they place their sense of calm in things they cannot control. They attach their inner state to situations, expecting that when their problems disappear, peace will finally arrive. But life is unpredictable, and problems never truly go away. They simply evolve into different challenges. If peace is dependent on a flawless life, then it will always be temporary, fragile, and easily broken. But if peace is something you cultivate from within, then no external force can take it away from you. One of the biggest barriers to peace is the illusion that it comes from avoiding difficulties. People assume that if they eliminate stress, conflict, or hardships, they will finally be able to relax. But true peace is not the absence of problems. It is the ability to remain calm in the midst of them. The world does not need to be perfect for you to be at peace. You simply need to shift your perspective. Instead of reacting to every situation with stress and frustration, you can train yourself to respond with acceptance and clarity. Your thoughts play a crucial role in maintaining peace. The way you speak to yourself, the beliefs you hold, and the way you interpret situations determine your emotional state. If you constantly tell yourself that life is unfair, that you are a victim, or that things will never get better, you create a restless mind. But when you shift your inner dialogue to one of resilience and gratitude, you create a foundation for lasting peace. The way you frame your experiences matters more than the experiences themselves. Detachment is another powerful tool in cultivating peace. The more you cling to expectations, the more you set yourself up for disappointment. People will not always behave the way you want them to. Circumstances will not always unfold as planned. Holding on to rigid expectations creates suffering. But when you learn to detach, to flow with life rather than fight against it, you free yourself from unnecessary stress. Letting go does not mean giving up. It means accepting what is beyond your control and focusing on what is within your power. Your environment also influences your ability to remain peaceful. The people you surround yourself with, the conversations you engage in, and the information you consume all shape your mental state. If you fill your mind with negativity, comparison, and conflict, peace will always feel out of reach. But when you become intentional about what you allow into your space, when you choose positivity over drama, and when you prioritize stillness over distractions, peace becomes a natural state of being. Peace is often mistaken for the absence of chaos, but in reality, true peace exists despite it. The world is unpredictable, constantly shifting in ways beyond our control. External events, whether global crises, personal conflicts, or unexpected setbacks, can easily disrupt the mind of someone who has tied their peace to stability. But when peace is dependent on external conditions, it is fragile. A single setback, a moment of bad news, or an unexpected challenge can send emotions into turmoil. This is why true peace must come from within. It must be cultivated independently of the chaos that surrounds us. Many people spend their lives reacting to the world around them, letting circumstances dictate their emotional state. When things are going well, they feel calm, but the moment something goes wrong, stress and anxiety take over. This kind of peace is conditional and unreliable. It is built on the illusion that life can be controlled, that things will always go as planned. But life rarely follows expectations. There will always be difficult people, unexpected challenges, and moments of uncertainty. If peace is constantly at the mercy of these things, it will never be consistent. Detaching from external chaos does not mean ignoring reality or pretending that problems do not exist. It means recognizing that you have power over your reactions, even when you have no power over the situation itself. It is the ability to remain centered in the middle of a storm, to observe what is happening without allowing it to consume you. Many people believe that reacting strongly to a situation gives them control over it, but often the opposite is true. The more emotionally entangled you become, the less clarity you have. Peace comes from stepping back, taking a breath, and making decisions from a place of awareness rather than impulse. One of the most effective ways to detach from external chaos is by choosing where to place your attention. The mind absorbs whatever it is exposed to, and in today's world, it is easy to be overwhelmed by negativity. News cycles focus on fear, social media amplifies conflicts, and people constantly discuss problems without seeking solutions. If you consume too much of this, your mind mirrors the chaos around you. But when you are intentional about what you allow into your space, you protect your peace. You do not have to engage in every argument, react to every crisis, or absorb every piece of negativity. You can choose to focus on what strengthens you rather than what drains you. Another key to detaching from chaos is learning to let go of control. Many people experience stress because they are trying to force things to go their way. They want people to behave a certain way, situations to unfold as expected, and problems to be resolved instantly. But the world does not operate on individual desires. When you learn to accept uncertainty, to trust that not everything needs to be controlled, peace becomes much easier to maintain. You can still make plans, take action, and influence your surroundings, but when things don't go as expected, you don't lose yourself in frustration. Instead, you adapt, you stay grounded, and you remind yourself that peace is an internal state, one that no external chaos can take away unless you allow it to. There is a fundamental difference between reacting and responding. Reacting is immediate, impulsive, and often driven by emotion, while responding is thoughtful, intentional, and grounded in awareness. When faced with difficult situations, most people react instinctively, allowing frustration, anger, or fear to dictate their words and actions. This often leads to regret, misunderstandings, and unnecessary conflict. But mastering the art of response means learning to pause, assess, and choose a course of action that aligns with long-term peace and clarity. Reacting is an automatic survival mechanism. It comes from the brain's instinctive need to protect itself, often triggering fight or flight responses. While this may be useful in life-threatening situations and everyday interactions, it often does more harm than good. A harsh comment, a difficult conversation, or an unexpected problem can trigger a reactive emotional outburst that only escalates the situation. The moment emotion takes over, logic takes a backseat, and the ability to think clearly diminishes. This is why people often say things they don't mean or make decisions they later regret when they are overwhelmed by emotion. Responding, on the other hand, is a skill that requires practice and self-awareness. It begins with the ability to pause before speaking or acting. That small moment of reflection can be the difference between conflict and resolution. Instead of allowing emotions to dictate behavior, a response is guided by understanding and clarity. It considers the bigger picture, weighing the consequences before taking action. This approach not only preserves peace, but also strengthens relationships, builds trust, and enhances self-control. One of the most effective ways to transition from reacting to responding is by developing emotional intelligence. This involves recognizing your triggers, understanding your emotions, and learning how to manage them. The goal is not to suppress emotions, but to regulate them in a way that serves rather than harms. When frustration arises, rather than immediately lashing out, take a deep breath, assess the situation, and decide whether your reaction will improve or worsen the outcome. Often, stepping away from the moment and returning with a clear mind leads to a much more constructive response. Another key to mastering the art of response is shifting perspective. Many reactive behaviors stem from taking things personally or assuming the worst. When someone speaks harshly, the instinct is to defend or retaliate, but responding with intention means looking beyond the immediate emotion and seeking to understand. Perhaps the other person is acting out of their own stress, insecurity, or frustration. Responding with patience rather than hostility diffuses tension and allows for more meaningful interactions. Practicing mindfulness also plays a crucial role in learning to respond rather than react. The more present and self-aware you are, the less likely you are to be controlled by fleeting emotions. Mindfulness helps create a gap between stimulus and action, allowing for a more measured and intentional approach. Instead of letting emotions hijack the moment, You become the observer of your thoughts and feelings, choosing how to proceed rather than being controlled by impulse. In the end, reacting is easy. It requires no thought, no discipline, and no awareness. But responding takes strength, patience, and wisdom. It allows you to navigate life with a sense of control, ensuring that your words and actions contribute to peace rather than chaos. The more you practice responding with intention, the more empowered and centered you become, no longer at the mercy of fleeting emotions, but in command of your own mind. Life is full of uncertainties, and no matter how much effort you put into planning, things will not always go your way. People will disappoint you, unexpected situations will arise, and challenges will test your patience. Many people struggle with inner peace because they are constantly trying to control everything around them. They believe that if they can predict every outcome, manage every detail, and prevent every mistake, they will finally feel at ease. But this approach only leads to frustration because the world does not operate according to personal expectations. True peace does not come from controlling everything. It comes from knowing what is within your power and releasing what is not. One of the biggest causes of stress and anxiety is the desire to force situations into a specific outcome. People cling to expectations about how others should behave, how opportunities should unfold, and how life should progress. When reality does not align with those expectations, they feel frustrated, betrayed, or anxious. But peace begins when you recognize that not everything is meant to be controlled. Some situations will evolve in ways you did not anticipate. Some people will make choices that you do not agree with. And sometimes, despite your best efforts, things will not work out. Resisting these realities only creates suffering. Accepting them allows you to move forward with clarity. Focusing on what you can control is the key to maintaining inner peace. Your thoughts, your actions, your attitude, and your decisions are within your power. You may not be able to control how others treat you, but you can control how you respond. You may not be able to change the past, but you can decide how you will move forward. Shifting your attention to what is within your influence not only strengthens your mindset, but also frees you from unnecessary stress. When you stop wasting energy on things beyond your reach, you have more focus and energy for what truly matters. Letting go is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign of wisdom. Many people believe that holding on tightly to every aspect of their lives gives them strength, but in reality, it keeps them trapped in frustration. Letting go does not mean giving up. It means accepting reality as it is and making the best decisions based on what is possible. It means trusting that even if things do not go as planned, you will still find a way forward. It means recognizing that peace is not about perfect control, but about adaptability. There is immense freedom in understanding that you do not have to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. When you stop trying to control what is uncontrollable, you create space for peace to exist. You learn to navigate life's uncertainties with a steady mind. You realize that setbacks do not define you, that disappointments do not have to break you, and that the future is not something to fear. By mastering the balance between control and acceptance, you develop the kind of inner peace that remains steady no matter what life throws your way. Your energy is one of your most valuable assets, yet many people give it away without realizing the cost. Every conversation you engage in, every argument you entertain, and every negative interaction you absorb takes a toll on your mental and emotional state. Peace is not just about finding quiet moments. It is about being intentional with who and what you allow into your space. Not everyone deserves access to your mind, and not every situation deserves your emotional investment. Protecting your energy means recognizing when people or environments are draining you and having the discipline to step away. There are people who thrive on chaos, conflict, and negativity. They are constantly complaining, arguing, and seeking attention through drama. Engaging with them does not solve anything, it only pulls you into their emotional storm. You may think you are being supported by listening or responding, but in reality, you are allowing their energy to influence your own. When you consistently expose yourself to negativity, you absorb it. Over time, you start feeling more drained, more frustrated, and more reactive. Protecting your energy requires setting boundaries with those who bring unnecessary stress into your life. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing that they must entertain every conversation or respond to every provocation. The truth is, Not everything requires your attention. Some people argue not to find solutions, but to feed their own emotional instability. They provoke, manipulate, and demand reactions to validate their own feelings. The moment you engage, you have given them control over your emotions. But when you choose to disengage, to walk away, or to stay silent, you take back your power. Protecting your energy is not about avoiding people, it is about choosing where your attention goes. Social media, news, and even workplace environments can be sources of emotional theft. If you spend your time consuming negative content, comparing yourself to others, or engaging in online debates, your mental state will reflect that energy. Many people feel exhausted without realizing it is because they are constantly feeding their minds with negativity. You must be selective about what you allow into your space. Choose conversations that uplift you, relationships that support you, and information that adds value to your life. If something consistently drains you, distance yourself from it. Another form of emotional theft comes from those who demand too much of you without reciprocation. Some people take and take, expecting you to be their emotional anchor without offering anything in return. While it is good to be supportive, there is a difference between helping someone and carrying their burdens. You cannot save everyone, and it is not your responsibility to fix other people's problems at the cost of your own well-being. If a relationship constantly leaves you feeling drained rather than fulfilled, it may be time to set boundaries. Your peace is worth protecting. Not everyone deserves your time, your energy, or your emotional investment. The more intentional you are about guarding your mind, the more control you will have over your inner world. By choosing what and who you allow into your space, you create an environment where peace is not just a momentary feeling, but a lasting state of being. True peace comes from within, and one of the most powerful ways to maintain it is by developing a strong internal compass. This means knowing your values, understanding what truly matters to you, and allowing those principles to guide your decisions. When you have a clear sense of who you are and what you stand for, external noise loses its power over you. Opinions, criticism, and distractions no longer shake your confidence because you are rooted in something deeper than fleeting emotions or social expectations. Many people struggle with inner peace because they are constantly seeking validation from others. They allow the opinions of friends, family, colleagues, and even strangers to dictate their choices. They measure their worth based on external approval, which makes them highly susceptible to self-doubt and anxiety. But when you operate from a strong internal compass, you are no longer controlled by outside opinions. You listen, but you do not let every voice influence your direction. You filter what is useful and disregard what does not align with your core beliefs. Clarity values provide stability. Life is filled with unpredictable challenges, and without a strong internal foundation, it is easy to feel lost. People who lack a clear sense of purpose often react impulsively to situations, letting emotions dictate their actions. They chase short-term pleasure, avoid discomfort, and compromise their principles to fit in. But those with a strong internal compass do not waver when faced with difficulty. They make decisions based on their values, not temporary emotions. They know that true fulfillment does not come from following trends or pleasing others. It comes from living in alignment with what truly matters to them. One of the greatest benefits of a strong internal compass is the ability to resist manipulation. The world is full of distractions, temptations, and voices trying to pull you in different directions. If you are unclear about your values, you become an easy target for persuasion. Marketers, influencers, and even people in your personal life will try to shape your beliefs to match their agendas. But when you have a well-defined sense of self, you are not easily swayed. You do not fall for every trend, engage in unnecessary conflicts, or waste energy on things that do not serve your purpose. Developing this inner strength requires self-reflection. You must take the time to define what is truly important to you. What do you believe in? What kind of person do you want to be? What principles will you refuse to compromise on? When you answer these questions honestly, you begin to build a foundation that no external force can shake. It is this foundation that allows you to stand firm when life throws challenges your way. When you know your values, decision-making becomes simpler. You do not have to second-guess yourself or seek approval for every choice you make. You trust your own judgment because it is rooted in something solid. This does not mean you stop learning or growing, but rather that your growth is intentional and aligned with your core beliefs. Peace comes naturally when you are no longer torn between external expectations and your true self. When your internal compass is strong, the noise of the world fades into the background and you move through life with confidence, clarity, and unshakable peace. Solitude is often misunderstood. Many associate being alone with loneliness, assuming that peace can only exist in the company of others. But solitude is not isolation. It is the ability to be at peace with yourself, to enjoy your own presence without needing constant distractions. It is in moments of solitude that clarity emerges, self-awareness deepens, and inner strength is cultivated. When you become comfortable being alone, you no longer depend on external validation to feel whole. You develop a sense of self that is not influenced by the opinions, expectations, or emotions of others. In a world that thrives on noise and constant interaction, solitude is often avoided. People fill their schedules with distractions, seeking entertainment, social interactions, or endless scrolling to escape the discomfort of being alone. But this avoidance only masks an underlying issue. Many people are afraid of their own thoughts. They fear stillness because it forces them to confront their emotions, their insecurities, and their unresolved struggles. However, true peace is only possible when you face yourself honestly. Solitude provides the space to do this. It is an opportunity to reflect, to understand your own mind, and to strengthen your relationship with yourself. When you embrace solitude, you gain independence from external influences. Too often, people make decisions based on the opinions of others, adjusting their actions to fit in, be accepted, or gain approval. But when you spend time alone, you learn to listen to yourself. You begin to understand what truly matters to you, separate from social pressures. Your choices become intentional, guided by your values rather than external expectations. The more time you spend in solitude, the stronger your internal voice becomes, and the less you are affected by outside noise. Solitude also strengthens emotional resilience. When you are constantly surrounded by others, it is easy to depend on them for comfort, validation, or distraction. But when you can sit with your own thoughts without seeking escape, you build the ability to handle emotions on your own. You learn to process challenges internally rather than looking for immediate external reassurance. This self-sufficiency creates a deep sense of peace because you no longer fear being alone. You trust yourself to navigate emotions without relying on someone else to fix them. Another powerful aspect of solitude is its ability to spark creativity and insight. Some of the greatest ideas, breakthroughs, and personal transformations come in moments of quiet reflection. When the mind is free from distractions, it has the space to explore deeper thoughts, make connections, and see things from a new perspective. Many of history's most brilliant minds intentionally sought solitude to think, create, and gain wisdom. When you allow yourself this space, you open the door to new levels of understanding and personal growth. Peace is not something that comes from the presence of others, it is something you build within yourself. When you embrace solitude, you take control of your inner world. You become your own source of fulfillment, strength, and clarity. Instead of fearing being alone, you begin to value it as an essential part of personal growth. The more comfortable you become in solitude, the less you need external distractions to feel complete. Peace flourishes in the space where you are fully present with yourself. Gratitude is one of the most powerful tools for achieving inner peace. When you focus on what you have rather than what you lack, your mind shifts from a state of dissatisfaction to one of contentment. Many people spend their lives chasing more success, more possessions, more recognition, believing that peace will come once they attain these things. But the truth is, external achievements only provide temporary satisfaction. True peace comes from appreciating what is already present in your life. A thankful heart is naturally at peace because it does not dwell on what is missing, it finds joy in what exists. In today's fast-paced world, it is easy to take things for granted. People wake up and immediately focus on what they need to do, what they don't have, or what problems they are facing. Rarely do they pause to recognize the simple blessings surrounding them: health, relationships, opportunities, even the ability to experience a new day. Gratitude shifts the focus from what is wrong to what is right. When you make it a habit to acknowledge even the smallest things, your mindset begins to change. The same life that once felt overwhelming or unfulfilling starts to feel abundant and meaningful. Gratitude also rewires the brain. Studies have shown that regularly practicing gratitude increases positive emotions, reduces stress, and improves overall well-being. When you make it a daily habit to reflect on what you are grateful for, your mind starts to default to appreciation rather than complaint. You begin to see opportunities instead of obstacles, blessings instead of burdens. Over time, this mindset becomes second nature, creating a sense of peace that is not easily shaken by external circumstances. Another benefit of gratitude is that it reduces comparison. One of the biggest sources of inner turmoil is measuring your life against others. Social media, advertising, and cultural pressures constantly push the idea that you need more to be happy. But gratitude disrupts this mindset by shifting the focus inward. Instead of looking at what others have, you stop valuing what you have. You stop chasing someone else's version of success and start defining fulfillment on your own terms. This freedom from comparison leads to deeper peace because you are no longer caught in a cycle of never feeling good enough. Gratitude also strengthens relationships. When you appreciate the people in your life, you naturally treat them with more kindness, patience, and understanding. Instead of focusing on their flaws or what they lack, you see the value they bring. Expressing gratitude to others deepens connections and fosters a sense of belonging. Relationships built on appreciation rather than expectation are far more peaceful and fulfilling. A grateful heart does not mean ignoring challenges or pretending life is perfect. It means choosing to focus on the good even when things are difficult. It means recognizing that despite hardships, there is always something to be thankful for. Peace does not come from a life without problems. It comes from a mindset that chooses gratitude over negativity. When you make gratitude a daily practice, peace becomes a natural state of being, rather than something you are constantly searching for. Life is full of challenges, and no matter how well you prepare, difficulties will come your way. Some people allow obstacles to consume them, believing that their struggles define them, but the truth is, no storm lasts forever. Every challenge, no matter how overwhelming it seems in the moment, is temporary. What remains is the growth that comes from facing it. The key to inner peace is recognizing that hardships are not meant to break you, they are meant to shape you. When you embrace this mindset, you stop fearing difficulties and start seeing them as opportunities to become stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Many people react to challenges with frustration, resistance, or despair. They get caught up in the belief that their current struggles will never end, and this thinking creates unnecessary suffering. But history proves otherwise. Look back on your own life. Situations that once felt impossible eventually passed. Problems that once consumed you faded away. The pain that seemed unbearable softened over time. This is the nature of life. Change is constant, and nothing stays the same forever. When you internalize this truth, you stop overreacting to difficulties. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you start asking, "What can I learn from this?" That shift in perspective is what creates peace in the middle of chaos. Every challenge carries a lesson. Hardships force you to grow in ways that comfort never could. Struggles teach patience, resilience, adaptability, and strength. They reveal weaknesses that need to be addressed and strengths you never knew you had. Without challenges, there is no progress. Think of every successful person, whether in business, relationships, or personal development. None of them achieve success without setbacks. What separates them from the rest is their ability to see struggles as stepping stones rather than roadblocks. They do not let temporary difficulties destroy their vision. They use them to sharpen their skills and deepen their wisdom. A peaceful mind understands that growth is permanent. The lessons you gain from each challenge stay with you for life. Once you learn how to navigate adversity, that wisdom cannot be taken away. The struggles you overcome today prepare you for even greater challenges in the future, and with each battle, you become more equipped to handle what life throws at you. This is why some people seem unshaken by difficulty. They have learned that they are bigger than their problem. They trust in their ability to endure, adapt, and rise above any situation. One of the most powerful things you can do for your peace of mind is to remind yourself that no matter how tough things seem right now, they will pass. The pain, the uncertainty, the stress, it is all temporary. What remains is the person you become because of it. The question is not whether you will face difficulties. The question is how you will respond. If you see challenges as personal attacks, you will suffer. If you see them as opportunities for growth, you will find peace in knowing that every experience, good or bad, is shaping you into a stronger, wiser version of yourself. Peace is not something you stumble upon. It is something you build, protect, and nurture every single day. It is a result of the choices you make, choosing to master your responses instead of reacting impulsively, choosing to focus on what you can control instead of what you cannot, choosing gratitude over negativity, and choosing to see challenges as stepping stones rather than obstacles. True peace comes from within, not from external circumstances. When you detach from chaos, protect your energy, and develop a strong internal compass, you create a foundation that is unshakable. The world will always be unpredictable, but your inner world does not have to be. When you understand that peace is a choice, you stop searching for it and start living it.